is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
Teddy Covers! How are you, my friend? Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. Teddy Covers, Lawrence Pressman. Great show today. A whole lot of gambling information coming up. Ralph Michaels, the pen, back. We're going to be looking at 3 college hoops games. Detroit, Northern Kentucky, Texas at Iowa State, and Baylor at West Virginia. Dave Sharapan after that. Teddy's big game breakdown. My penalty box segment and a whole lot more. Teddy! How are you, dude? What's going on over there? You got a big day. Your first 5% college hoops play of the year.
Yeah, I don't release a lot in college hoops, but as the calendar turns to March, all of a sudden, and this one really jumped off the page at me. And I started doing the research and it jumped off the page even more. So I wasn't planning on a 5-star release today in college hoops, but you know what? When they come, we'll try to take advantage. And, of course, big game breakdown today. We're going to talk NBA on TNT, the Celtics, and the Clippers.
Teddy, a big play alert. I got to make mention. Brian Leonard, he is a 5% hockey play tonight. And to give perspective, since Brian has been with us, he's released over 4,000 hockey plays. 6 of them have been 5% plays. I don't even know the math on what percentage that is, but it's like 0.00001%. He's 5-1 in those 5% NHL plays. So head over to WagerTalk, grab Brian Leonard's 5%er, Teddy's 5%er, and of course it's $2 Tuesdays at Memo and WagerTalk. We'll get into that a little later. Teddy, what happened last night in the world of sports betting?
Oh, goodness. When it comes to bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books, I thought maybe with all the bad beats over the weekend, we wouldn't have as many last night. I'm like, we're not going to have as many. And lo and behold, we got a whole bunch to talk about. Let's start with the bad beats from last night. This one didn't go in my favor, unfortunately. I had the Bulls +5 against the Nuggets last night. They're up by 6 in the fourth. It's a tight game throughout the second half. Chicago led by 4 with 4 minutes left, by a bucket with 3 minutes left. It's tied with 2 minutes left. They're down 2 with 8 seconds left. And then you know how it goes. Foul, miss, foul. Nuggets 4-4 from the free throw lines in those final 8 seconds, including the last 2 with just over a second left. Denver wins by 6 at that's the biggest lead they had in the fourth quarter. Not only was it a bad beat for Bulls bettors, it was a really tough beat for under bettors as well. The last 8-second sequence with 2 free throws and a miss and 2 more free throws. Well, that last 8 seconds sent the game over the total, turned under into over. I don't think that was the worst beat last night. I think the worst beat last night might well have been Dallas. All right, the Mavs are -7 at Orlando. They're up by 18 with less than 5 to play, 120-102. They're still up by 11 with 40 seconds left. It's garbage time. There's no fouling in that situation. But then Vujovic hits a 3, and then Ross hits a 3, and then suddenly it's a 5-point game. And the Mavs actually turned it over, but Orlando missed. So they had a chance to get a push at the end, but Luka only 1 of 2 from the free throw line. The Mavs win by only 6. The books cleaned up on the total. 226 bet down to 221. Those are all bad bets. That game flew over. The Spurs tried to bad beat the Nets last night. The Spurs were down 12 with 4 and change to play. They're +4.5. They're down 11 with 3 and change. They're down 10 at the 2-minute mark. And then Mills hits a 3 and Walker hits a 3 and Murray and DeRozan hit buckets. The next thing you know, it's in overtime. Of course, what happens in overtime? The underdog that just tried to make the bad beat on the favorite, they went to die. The Nets dominated the extra session. No bad beat for Brooklyn bettors, but a brutal beat for under bettors. 235.5 lands 237 after 5 made 3-pointers in the extra session. And let's not forget college hoops bad beats. Central Arkansas +12.5 They're down 14. They hit the 3 to cover with 26 seconds left. There's no need to foul, down 11. But they do anyway. Both free throws good. Stephen F. Austin wins by 13. The only time the whole game they led by more than enough to cover was in the final minute. Tough beat for Central Arkansas backers. When it comes to bad bets last night, a handful to talk about. Air Force, plus 20 down to plus 18 at Colorado State. Air Force lost by 30. That was a bad bet. North Carolina, from -1 to -3 at Syracuse. They lost the game by a bucket. That wasn't a right side. The Pacers, plus 4.5 to plus 3.5. All Indiana money at Philly. Pacers lost by 16. And one more bad bet. Somebody out there, some group out there, keeps betting the Houston Rockets. We've seen it game after game. -2 up to -3 last night. The Rockets now 0-12 straight up, 1-11 ATS in their last dozen ball games. Keep betting Houston. It's a bad bet over and over again. Bad for books last night. Look, the Bedlam total, I leaned under. That was wrong. And the markets told me it was wrong. Total from 141.5. Bet up as high as 146.5. There was a couple of second half flurries in that game. Lands 154, although the books did get some back. Oklahoma money from Pick'em to minus 2.5. And the Sooners ended up losing that game by 4. Couple more bad for the books. The Jazz Pelicans over. That got steamed up 234.5 to 237. Lands 253. Flew over the total. And the Blazers side and total, both bad for the books. Portland bet up from -6 to -8 against Charlotte after the Hornets' wild comeback at Sacramento on Sunday night. Blazers win that game by a dozen. Books got clobbered there. And the total landed right in the middle. Open 235.5. Close 230. Lands on 234. When it lands in the middle, that's rarely good for the house. So there you have it. A couple of bad beats, a couple of bad bets, and plenty of bad for the books. Back to you, Mr. Prez. Oh, Prez is muted again. So
yeah, Prez is muted. And that's only because I don't want to interrupt the world's greatest section of the world's greatest show. That's all. That's all. Teddy, it's $2 Tuesdays over at Sports Memo. Let's go through that real quick. Ronald Kabang. Dude, Ronald Kabang as a best bet in NBA. It's a total play. 63% in NBA totals on the year. He's also on a 24-7 NBA run. 24-7 NBA run. 63% in NBA totals. He's got one tonight. It's only $2 over at Sports Memo. And our $2 handicapper at WagerTalk, Tony Meha. I hope I said that right. He's got an NBA top play. I said that wrong? So fix it for me, Teddy.
Mejia. It's not a hard name to pronounce.
Okay. Well, let's bring Ralph in. That is an easy name to pronounce. Ralph, we always miss you, bro. Welcome to Wager Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, and you can catch Tony Mejia, me, and on the college basketball show right after this. He's a great handicapper. One correction I want to make, Prez. Brian Leonard has had his 5th NFL 5% play, and there's been 4,000 games played in the NHL. Obviously, he cannot have 4,000 selections in the NHL, but in that period of time,
course of his lifetime,
that would be pretty tough to get to, Prez. So,
hey, dude, I rode the Peloton. I hit a PB today. I'm in a great mood. No one's messing with me, but I do go into the penalty box for these mistakes. So, 4,000 NHL plays this year. Oh, shut up, Teddy. 4,000 NHL plays this year. Brian, 5% plays, 5-1. Go grab his. And also, Teddy, I made a coupon for you while you were doing the Bad Beat segment. Guys, you want to grab Teddy's 5% play? $15 off. Use the promo code Teddy15 over at WagerTalk.com. That's Teddy15.
So,
Ralph, let's get straight.
Real quick, Prez just gave us a challenge. All right. He said that nothing is going to throw him off his game right now. All right. He's in a good mood today.
That's not what I said. Everything is throwing me off my game. Everything is throwing me off my game. Nothing is going to annoy me.
Okay. So
the comeback was
like a personal challenge.
The comeback was fourth.
Oh,
Someone
God.
could give out 4,000 NHL plays. No, they can't.
Okay, Detroit -1 at Northern Kentucky. 146 is the total. Ralph, let's get straight to it. How do we bet this game?
Guys, I always get a lot of questions on the new Wager Talk college basketball stat report sheet. And when you open it up, it is overwhelming. The conferences, the numbers, but breaking it down. But now that we're in conference tournament play, I just want to simply go through a game I like and show you how easy it is to look at this guide to see if there is any statistical advantage. And we're going to break down the Detroit Mercy Northern Kentucky game. And I added conference strength of schedule this year because it's so important. Traditionally, when you're in conference action, you're going to play almost an identical schedule. This year, though, with cancellations, you find some big variances. So when you're looking at conference stats, make sure those conference strength of schedules are equal. So on top, you see the way the format looks. It's side by side, a whole bunch of numbers. If I break down the two teams and we look at the top and the bottom, you see Detroit, Mercy, and Northern Kentucky in the yellow. That's their conference-only straight-up record. Detroit 10-6, Northern Kentucky 11-7. And the way the Horizon did it, Northern Kentucky is actually at home because of the extra win. Strength of schedule, basically even, 245 to 249. But Detroit has a plus 2.1 point per game diff, slightly better in rebounds, slightly better in steals, and slightly better in blocks than game. So I have a team like that that's doing well. So let's move to the bottom of the chart and see how they've done against the spread and over-unders. You see that Detroit on the road, the yellow section in the middle, they are 7-2 ATS on the road. Folks, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a good road team. Northern Kentucky at home in the blue box, only 3-6 as a home favorite as they are today. So the ATS dichotomies works for me. And then look at the over-unders all the way to the right. When Detroit is on the road, they're 5-4 to the over, average score 76 to 75, winning by 1 point. Northern Kentucky at home, 7-5 to the over, 71-70. So take a look at those scores. Detroit 76 to 75, that's 151 points. Northern Kentucky, when they're at home, 71 to 70, that's 141 points. I wonder why the total is 146, guys. These the Vegas numbers makers aren't geniuses. They're just looking at this same type of information. So no value on the total. I am getting Detroit to the window. I like the numerical matchups. I like that they've gone 9-1 straight up in ATS their last 10 games. And I like that they have the best player on the court with Antoine Davis, who is the second leading scorer in college basketball. Detroit Mercy gets the call for me.
So, Ralph, I want to ask you about this stat sheet, okay? Because this is a free product, right? It doesn't cost a dime, and it has literally the numbers for every single game that day. And as we get into conference tournament season, getting those matchups to be able to look at them in condensed format, to me, is an extraordinarily valuable tool. How do people get this free Wager Talk matchup page from your homepage at WagerTalk? How do they do it?
It is. I mean, it's wt.buzz/RM, or just go to WagerTalk, look for the handicappers, look for the Ralph Michaels page. I update these numbers twice a week. I updated them after Sunday's game. It was up Monday morning. I'll update them again after Thursday's games Friday morning. It's a free download. And while you're there, oh yeah, check out the NBA stat sheet that I do every day. Best bets, 6 straight winners, and 20-6 is the record. The last 26 days, there's a free play on the stat sheet each and every day.
Nicely done, Ralph Michaels. Teddy, last week, you, me, and Andy were talking about how cities get their nicknames. Detroit Mercy is easy. If you live in Detroit, you scream Mercy a lot. I see how that works. Ralph, Texas at Iowa State, -11.5. No line move here. 140. We bet this game.
We're looking at an Iowa State team that's over. You are 0-15 in Big 12 action. Guess what? That's a powerful motivator. This Iowa State team was supposed to be a middle-of-the-road Big 12 team. They had many injuries early. What happened when those players came back? They covered 3 straight games. They then ran them into a very motivated Kansas team and Oklahoma State team, failed to cover 3 straight. But look what they've done recently. They took Baylor to the wire. They lost to TCU in their last game where they had a lead, but their 3-year starting point guard, Bolden, was out the second half of the game. He's listed as questionable. Texas has been a horrible second-half team. They're 1-8-1 against the spread. They're now on a second road game. They tend to jump out early and blow leads. I've played on Texas first half 3 times this year, winning all 3, and they failed to cover that entire game. Listen, Texas probably wins the game, but Iowa State's going to hang in there. I have this as a play, and I have this as a 4% best bet if Bolton is cleared to play later today. So either way, when you have an 0-15 team that is well underrated in the marketplace, it's a great play on in their final home game of the year to try to not be embarrassed for that 0-4 season.
So I was looking around to try to find Rasir Bolton info this morning, Ralph, and I didn't find anything definitive. Is this the type of game that if Bolton doesn't play, you don't want the Cyclones, or are the Cyclones worth taking a shot here either way, even if they're missing one of their key guards?
It's a play for me either way, Teddy. It's just a much stronger play if he plays. Listen, he only played 15 minutes, and it was those 25 minutes that he missed let TCU back in that game to win. And again, when you're talking a 3-year starting point guard, it is of a different perspective. But again, this Iowa State has had many leads. They're still well coached. It's still a play for me, just becomes a much stronger play if he is cleared for this evening.
Ralph Michaels, everybody. Ralph, you're on the college basketball show every day. What time? Tell us about it.
College basketball show. Right after this, we go on about 10:30. I'm on 4 days a week. Dave Koken's on 4 days a week. Tony Mejia joins us 2 days a week. And we have Marco, Brian. We have Mid-Major Matt. We have Vino. Merrill sits in on occasion. I'll tell you what, guys, it's an amazing show. We get everything done in about a half an hour, have a few laughs, go through the 3 top games, and give some best bets out as well.
Awesome stuff. And Joe Ranieri's the host.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should say that. So Joe's probably still partying after his Cowboys just swept the Sooners. So we'll see if Joe's ready to host today or if he's a little under the weather for the Cowboys, probably likely clinching a spot in the NCAA tournament now.
Let's get to your last game on the card. Baylor -4.5 at West Virginia. 148.5 is the total. Where do we go here?
You hear this from coaches all the time. I am sure Scott Drew is ecstatic that Baylor lost a game, to not have to have that pressure. But you know me, I have to look up stats and I have to find a little TNA, some trends and angles. So I went into the database. When teams start a season 15-0 or better and then lose their first game straight up, they are only 37.5% the next game. Then let's look at Baylor as a whole. Baylor had a 20-day COVID cancellation from February 2nd to February 23rd. They came back, and this is not the same Baylor defense. They allowed Iowa State, who was 0-15 in conference play, to shoot 49%, and they only won that game by 4, failing to cover by 20-plus points. Then they are off the loss at Kansas, where they allowed Kansas to shoot over 51%. We have a hungry West Virginia team here that is pressing a team that doesn't like to be pressed, is at home. I make this game West Virginia +1. This is on my card today. West Virginia wins this game straight up.
So let me ask you this about Baylor. Okay, so they're 2 games back since the 3-week layoff. They were -24 against Iowa State, failed to cover that game by 19. They were -4.5 at Kansas, failed to cover that game by 17.5. Are the betting markets wildly off with Baylor's power rating right now because of all of that early season success? Is this team a prime bet against squad over the course of the next week or two for you?
Oh, until they prove differently. Absolutely, Teddy. And again, we're looking at defense. If you're allowing 50% on defense, that is not the Baylor Bear team. Now, it's a perfect situation for them. Get the loss underway. You know, maybe lose again to Oklahoma State or Texas Tech down the road at home. but just be ready to play in the conference tournament. You're still going to be a 1 seed, even with 2 losses. So Scott Drew has the time to work it out for the Baylor Bears. I think the loss came at the perfect time where they still have some time to make an adjustment. And in that 6-game period, I give those players and that coach all the ability to turn that program down into one of the elite defenses. But you're not going to do it between Kansas on the road Saturday and in Morgantown here on Tuesday.
There you go. Anything else, Teddy? I was just chatting with Joe, getting ready for your big game breakdown.
Well, why don't you chat with Ralph, because he's on the show right now. And it's time for you to say, thanks
Teddy,
for joining us, Ralph. Anything you want to promote?
I love you.
You know what? Dave Koken and I both want to say thank you to everyone that watches the college basketball show. We did a combination special. If you go to Dave's page or my page, you will see that for $299, you get both of us college basketball through the finals on Monday, April the 7th. Again, click either one of those specials, $299. You'll get every college basketball release for the rest of the year from both Dave Koken and myself.
Awesome stuff. And Koken on a 10-2 college basketball run. Guys, 30 seconds. We're right back. Teddy's big game breakdown, Dave Sharapan, Flex Tuesday, the penalty box segment, and so much more. Ralph, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk NBA on TNT Tuesday night. The LA Clippers and the Boston Celtics. Right now, the Clips, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, -4 at most books, total in the 220 and a half range. There is some variance on the total from book to book. I was a little disappointed by the point spread here. I wanted to lay a point with the Clips, maybe a point and a half, maybe 2. The number didn't come where I hoped that it would come. So we're not going to look at the side in this ballgame. We're going to look at the total. But first, I do want to talk about why I was interested in the side. Yes, Boston has gotten back on track after a really rough stretch, back-to-back wins over the Pacers and Wizards. But even the last time out, laying a price to Washington, couldn't cover the number. And the quotes are good out of the Celtics locker room right now. Kemba Walker, who's played much better in February than he did early on, although his 2-point shooting is still, 41% on 2-point shooting for the month of February. That's not good. But Kemba talking about how the teams come together after facing some adversity. Quote, when times get hard, it's so easy to separate. The hardest thing to do is come together. That's what we did. We got to believe in each other. That said, it doesn't look like they're going to be believing in Jaylen Brown tonight. Brown listed as questionable for the Celtics. The betting markets are telling me they don't expect him to suit up this evening. He's still dealing with a bad ankle. Now, it's a Boston team that has had all kinds of issues with their bench production. Their highest scoring bench player is a rookie, Peyton Pritchard, a point guard. Now, when Marcus Smart comes back, it's going to help. But for right now, this is a shorthanded team, and if Jaylen Brown doesn't play tonight, they're a particularly shorthanded team. This is a Clipper squad that's playing the 4th game of a 5-game trip, and there's a little motivation here. They're 1-2 on the trip so far. They blew the game at Milwaukee. They got Giannis down the stretch of that contest. And again, they went 16-5 in December and January, just 8-7 in February. We're not playing championship-level basketball right now. And here's the quote from Kawhi Leonard that makes me look at the under for this one. It makes me less inclined to lay a bigger price with the Clips on the road here. Again, if I was laying a point and a half, I'd be interested. At 4, this quote talked me out of it. Kawhi Leonard, quote, some teams come down in the flow of the pace and know exactly what they're doing. Those are teams that usually win. You're not thinking you're coming down, getting to a set. But we're all learning from each other. It's still a learning process. As a team, I don't feel like we're there yet. Quote, we're looking to the sideline a lot for plays. I feel like our pace has pretty much slowed down. Boston likely to play without their leading scorer. The Clippers not in an offensive rhythm, and their pace has slowed. 220 and a half. Let's look at this game under the total. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Thank you, Teddy. Awesome stuff. Clippers in Boston under the total. Teddy Covers, Dave Sharapan joining us shortly, but I got me some business to take care of. A lot of stuff to tell everybody about. First off, right off the bat, we have a lot of you guys asking, where can we get shirts? Where can we get shirts? Well, join me, Carmine, and Andrew McGinnis on Puck Time tomorrow. We're going to be giving out Puck Time shirts. Join Teddy and myself on Wager Talk Today tomorrow, and we're going to tell you how to get Wager Talk Today shirts. So stay tuned. It's all going down tomorrow. As well, Teddy, you got a 5% play. We discussed that in college basketball, first one of the year. Use the promo code Teddy15, get $15 off of Teddy's 5% play. Brian Leonard's got a 5% play up. $2 Tuesdays. So much to discuss. And also, Teddy, I don't know if you know this, bro. I am on a 14-5 NBA run, but better than that, I'm on an 11-1, 4% NBA run, and I got 2 NBA plays up tonight, including a 4%. Everybody is rolling. ASA over at Sports Memo, 10-1 run. Oskheim Sports, 13-2 NBA run. Rocky, 15-2 NBA run. Just amazing stuff all around. Dave Sharapan, it's good to have you on Flex Tuesday, my friend.
Hey, boys, what's up? Oh, there he is, Flex Tuesday. My goodness. You were rattling off all those numbers. I couldn't keep track of what the hell was going on.
Well, that's because you're Dave Sharapan.
Let me put these headphones on, boys. Hold on. Let me put these headphones on.
Okay, so way to be prepared there, Dave.
Yeah, I had to put it on because there's feedback, so I wanted to make sure we didn't have any feedback.
Dave, before we get into some actionable info, what's going on with you? Where can people hear the great Dave Sharapan?
Well, thanks to your efforts, Prez, along with everyone else that I've been doing these shows with, we've kind of expanded the shows. I appear now on Sports Grid every day from 4 to 7 Pacific, which is 7 to 10 Eastern. It's also on Sirius Satellite Radio on 204. So we're doing that. And I have the podcast still, which, again, you're going to be on, Prez. Don't take it personal, but I booked the show out. It's only once a week. Stop talking. You gave me the opportunity to speak for 1 second on Flex Tuesday.
What are you, Teddy?
But the podcast is... Are you talking? Joe, mute him, yes. Joe. I heard you mute him before. I know you have the power to mute him. Anyhow, that's what we got going on at SportsBK on Twitter, and I don't know, actionable info time.
Okay, Teddy, drag it out of that bum.
No, I want to know more about what he's doing because, Sharapan, when you first started doing the first shows that I started doing with regularly was when me and Ralph were working at Sports Grid. And at that point, you were doing, I think it was that show and maybe your podcast. I emailed you yesterday. You're like, yeah, I got 4 hours of radio today and more tomorrow. So let's talk about it. What's the difference between doing one show once in a while and doing 4 hours of radio on 4 different shows yesterday? How's that process work for you?
It's way different, Teddy. And it's so funny because, like, everyone, at least in this house, between my wife and 3 daughters, think I just get on and talk to my friends. Like, this is nothing. We just sign on and we just talk about sports. And I got the TV on and I just look at those numbers on those screens that I always look at, and it's nothing. Like, I truly understand the craft of actually making plays and actually making numbers and actually having to then put your reputation on the line daily and talk about your plays and where you're going. So the process gets a little bit longer now. You have to actually, put in the work, which I'm doing anyway, because I get up every day and the first thing I do, even though I'm not working in a book, is sign on to my screen, look at the numbers, look at the scores from last night. Then I listen to the big game breakdown and the 6 Bs and the bad beats and the bad this. So there's so many ways to find information. And I mean, literally, I get up and look at Ralph's sheet every single day. Where else can you find the NBA stuff that you can find all on one sheet? In the books, like you're always looking to streamline the process. So I've streamlined the process and I get on these shows and talk about all the stuff that we're looking at every day anyway.
Now, I'm assuming when you're on all of your other shows, you're promoting Wager Talk, your favorite show and your best show. What's it like working with Morency every night? He's a trip.
Morency's a nut. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He's great, but you have to match his energy, which I do. And I'm on with him for 1 hour and the other guy, Cam, like the Canadian guys, like, I mean, I didn't really know Prez was South African roots, but he's up in Canada. The Canada guys bring it, and they're hockey guys. And, I'm in the Crosby shirt today. Crosby's out because of COVID, and there's a steam move on the Flyers. If you didn't see it while you were talking earlier, it came like minus 120, minus even 115. It's minus 130. So, the steam came on the Flyers. That's another example of just like intertwining the actionable info amongst all of this talk that like guys like we do and Morency does with me every day.
Dave Sharapan, everybody. Dave, Teddy, me, and Joe could fill up an hour show just discussing Gabe Morency. Literally. We have so many Gabe stories. I mean, I took Gabe and Cam to a Raptor game about 18 months ago. I'm not going to get into that story, but we had to carry him out.
They hated Prez.
We had to carry him out, dude.
I want to hear the story off the air. We only have so much time, but I want to hear the story.
Yeah, we literally had to carry him out. He stood in the middle of the stairs just screaming at people, "I am famous! Buy me a drink!" I mean, it was... Anyway, brother, let's get into some NHL, man. We haven't seen a 7 yet. We have seen a 5. It feels like a lot of these games are going under more than over right now. When the Leafs and the Oilers have gone under each 8 of their last 11 games, the tide is turning, my friend. What do you think about that? And give us some bets for tonight.
So it's funny because, I mean, we do this talk every Tuesday and it's like 15 minutes and I get so much from it as hopefully I give out some actionable info. But like the Ottawa Senators, if anybody hasn't been paying any attention, we actually said this on Tuesday last week. They've won every game since we said it, where they're a much better team than indicated. They're a huge dog tonight. I know they played last night, but a huge dog. That one feels like that could be live. I like the Penguins as a dog at home. I don't care that Crosby's not playing. I just think that the Penguins are live in that game. The totals, I've seen 7s at the soft books so far this season. It's crazy. But like some FanDuel 7s, some DraftKings 7s back east, but no 7s in places offshore. And definitely I haven't seen, I think I saw 1-7 in Vegas, but the totals are coming down. Like you can't automatically now just play those games over. I think the familiarity thing with the teams, I think there's a little bit of fatigue right now in the middle of the season. You get tired of playing the same teams. Goaltenders are, getting more games in a row. I mean, the Knights are starting Fleury every single game. So they're getting in a rhythm. Totals are definitely going under more, but The Jets and Canucks, boys, that's the other Canadian game tonight. I can't figure the Jets out. Just when you think they're scoring and they're rolling, they get shut out yesterday by Vancouver. The line is exactly the same. So zigzag, maybe take the Jets tonight as a short favorite and bet the total, probably under.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about the Jets in the penalty box segment. But I do like your Ottawa call, Dave. I mean, this is a team that's playing real tough right now and just getting off on beating the top teams in the North. But conversely, you're playing against Montreal, who I think is 5 losses in a row. This team is falling apart. They can't find any scoring. I like your Pittsburgh underdog bet too. And don't sleep on Dallas tonight, guys. They're also a nice underdog at minus 160, 165. And they can skate with Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay is not going to win every game. So there's 3 dogs that I think are super live tonight. Teddy, drag some info out of Dave on the NBA, please.
Sure. We got a few minutes left here with Dave Sharapan at SportsBKConsig on Twitter, short for Sportsbook Consigliere. So at SportsBKConsig on Twitter. And Dave, where do you want to go? You want to talk NBA? You want to talk college hoops? Let's talk NBA real quick, and then we'll look at the college hoops card. Anything stand out in terms of actionable info? We've seen the wise guys come in, the sharp money come in the NBA in early morning action today on Tuesday.
Well, I really like the Clippers Celtics under. I heard you say that earlier, the big game breakdown. I think you're dead on accurate with that one. The Suns and the Lakers, fellas, this feels like one of those games. Now, it went the way yesterday where how could you not bet Cleveland against Houston, right? Like Houston is maybe the worst team in the NBA right now, and they're a short favorite, and it's that easy where you cash the Cavs ticket and it gets there. The Lakers are 1.5-point favorites against the Suns. Like, really? This is one of those games where I'd be sitting in the book all day writing Suns tickets and they're taking 1.5. We don't need that 1.5. We'll just take them on the money line, and then the Lakers win by double digits. So that one's sneaky to me, but it's just one of those plays that you kind of have to do, and it's the last game of the night. Look for the Lakers to be a play. Knicks and Spurs is very interesting, right? The Knicks are playing good basketball. They're road favorites against San Antonio. Questionable. That one stinks to me. I think San Antonio is going to be a play. That'll be the other one. And Nuggets and Bucks, just make the total 300. I mean, it's 235, and books just will not adjust the totals. The Pelicans, it's on Ralph's sheet. Every single day, the Pelicans games go over, and they're still 232, 234, maybe 235, and they get 250. You're watching the Nuggets and the Bucks. The Nuggets are off the back-to-back. Yes, they were in Chicago last night. I don't know what that means, but I know that they shoot threes. The Bucks shoot threes. There's going to be a lot of threes, and the game's probably going to go over. So that's the NBA in a nutshell.
And of course, that total, the sharp money has come on the under, open 236, and some of the leading indicator books down to 234.5. Does the sharp money win in the NBA, Dave?
The sharp money's struggling in the NBA. I mean, it has been such a different, I said it to Morency yesterday, who, by the way, cannot say my name right. Joe can't spell my name right on the show.
Somebody
Morency
just wrote
cannot say my name right.
Dave, somebody just wrote that in the chat.
Everything else. But no, the sharp money is struggling in the NBA. They're really struggling. They can't get it right. And listen, the numbers indicate that like the Pelicans have to go under soon. They bet it under every day. The Bucks, Nuggets, it should go under sometime. So they bet the numbers the way things are supposed to go or should go more often than not. And they're not going that way right now, especially with the totals in the basketball.
Last minute here with
Dave Sharapan.
With Dave Sharapan, sharing pens,
sharing
whatever.
Pens.
College hoops. Is there anything worth noting on the college hoops card tonight? We have just about a minute before the break.
Well, the Baylor West Virginia game, is kind of singled out this afternoon. It's going to be a big handle game. And I saw the first look in the game was 3.5, and it went up. And I'm with you guys. I heard Ralph's breakdown. How is West Virginia not a play? Like, the books are going to need West Virginia. They're betting Baylor. They bet Baylor. I mean, Baylor and Gonzaga have been basically set up for the finals in the NCAA for a month. And people are still betting Baylor like they're that team, not factoring in the COVID and the break and the fact that they just aren't covering spreads. So West Virginia is the one that sticks out to me. I have no idea about the UT Rio Grande Valley, New Mexico State game, but that's the first game of the day. I figured, the college basketball show might have that one on breakdown, or maybe Joe can help us out and give us the play there.
Dave Sharapan, ding dong. Thank you for joining us, my friend. And we actually
go to the penalty box. We'll talk to you guys later.
Dave, we actually had somebody in the chat room say Morency could never pronounce Dave's name right. Every time they come back from the break, it's a different pronunciation. We also had someone in the chat room say that after the show, Dave and I are going to do a pull-up competition. So I just want to let everyone know how that would go. I would do 10 pull-ups, and Dave would pull up his pants.
2 maximum.
Oh, you couldn't do 1. Dave, I will donate $50 to a charity of your choice if you tweet out 1 proper pull-up. 1. $50.
Oh, mine's a jump
charity
pull-up.
Of your
My
choice.
First one's a jump one.
Nope. I want to see the whole thing. $50, charity of your choice, 1 pull-up. Teddy, I'll do the same for you. You have to do 2. Let's get to the penalty box, everyone. Thanks, Dave Sharapan. Love you, bro. I don't know how you can't smile when you hear that song Teddy covers. I mean, it's like Herb. Tarlick, was that his name? Herb Tarlick, I think, from Three's Company. Anyway, guys, I got one quick thing to say that's completely off topic. What else is new? And then 2 penalty box free plays for you all. My one thing is I'm watching The Mandalorian on Disney. It's great. I love the Star Wars stuff. A lot of action. But here's what I don't understand. If your main character wears a mask the entire show and never takes it off, why do you hire a well-known actor and pay him the bucks that he probably asks? You never see his face. Surely you could have just hired some person off the street. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go. Columbus in regulation. I love this play tonight. I'm always looking to play Columbus when their coach, Tortorella, is pissed off. Detroit's won 2 of their last 3 games. They got annihilated in their last one by Chicago 7-2. And Columbus, this team is on a 5-game losing streak. Their coach, Tortorella, must be losing his freaking mind. I call him the Fonz. He must be going absolutely crazy, and there's a great cure for any team with a 5-game losing streak. Just play Detroit. Take Columbus tonight in regulation. Winnipeg Jets. I like this play a lot. This Winnipeg Jets team, I think this team is maybe the second or third best team in the North. The Leafs, of course, are number 1, but Edmonton and Winnipeg are right there. You got Vancouver coming off a 4-0 win against Winnipeg. And before that, they lost 4 in a row. Winnipeg, conversely, won 4 in a row before their loss last night. And this is just a straight zigzag play, Teddy. I'm getting a low price with Winnipeg. They have a better goalie. They have a better offense. I think they have a better coach. So I'm going to take Winnipeg minus 121, and I'm going to take Columbus in regulation at minus 110. That's it for the penalty box, sir. Tomorrow's show, Kelly Stewart and Arthur DeCesar. Great stuff today. I had an absolute blast, Teddy. Guys, make sure to buy Teddy's 5% Playing College Hoops. Teddy15 is the promo code as well. Brian Leonard, very rare 5% play in hockey. Teddy, take us home. I don't know what Joe was saying in my ear.
Me neither. But whatever he said, I agree with it because it was anti-Prez. All that said, thank you so much for hanging out with us on Wager Talk today here on Tuesday. Like Lauren said, we'll be back again tomorrow in 23 hours and approximately 12 minutes from now, like we do every day, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon on the East Coast. I want to thank Ralph Michaels for joining us today. I want to thank Dave Sharapan for joining us today. And I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to hang with Prez and I. Please, before you leave, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a comment. All of those help us, help you, help me, help you. Help us help you, giving you the best free content you can find.
Please end.
Out there on the internet. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the games, and good luck tonight.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.